1FM 91.3. Real music.
Wow, we are very lucky to be joined by the legendary rock band and helium experts, Journey! Okay, why don't we go around just for a quick introduction. So just give me your name, what do you play, and what was your favorite band when you were growing up?
My favorite band was the Beatles. I'm Jonathan Cain from Journey.
This is Steve Smith. I'm the drummer with Journey. My favorite band was the Buddy Rich Big Band.
Hello there, I'm Arnel Pineda, and I'm with Journey, and yeah, my favorite band is the Beatles.
I'm Neil Sean, I play guitar. My favorite band was Dave Clark 5.
That's right.
Glad all over.
I am Ross
That was
Valerie.
Eddie's too.
I play the bass, and I'm on the golden microphone. My favorite band as I was growing up was Dave Brubeck Quartet.
Okay, so you guys have just arrived in Singapore. Concert is tomorrow. What can we expect from the show tomorrow?
Well, we
I don't know,
have.
what do you guys want to play?
That's a good question.
Well, we're gonna do some Beatles and some Dave Brubeck and some Dave Clark. We're gonna mix it up. What do you expect? A good variety of songs, hits, and other things that we place in there to change up.
Did I read that you were recently playing like the Escape album track for track?
Yeah, we were.
We did our second show at the Budokan just this last week, and the second show was in order: the Escape album and then the Frontiers album.
But not tomorrow.
Well, we were just talking about retaining a few of those songs that we really enjoy, and that we might switch around, keep in rotation, as we
Right.
call it.
Yeah, plus last time we were here, we didn't have this amazing drummer here with us, Steve Smith. So you're going to expect a whole nother atmosphere with Steve on drums. I'll tell you that.
How does Steve change it for you, Jonathan?
It's very orchestral. It becomes very transparent. I think Journey has a lot of detail, and when Steve plays, all the detail can be heard. You know what I mean? Because he plays with such amazing velocity changes and stuff. It's not all the same, at one level. So there's many layers to Journey.
Is there a lot of drum solos with Steve?
Oh, absolutely.
He practices during our songs. He's pulling an Ainsley, man. I don't know what's going on.
Yeah, well, we put him to work. But as Jonathan said,
He's a head cat.
when Steve returned to us, Jonathan said, "We have our orchestra back."
Yeah.
And that really says it.
And Steve, what's it like being back with the boys?
Well, it's been really interesting, and revisiting those parts. I mean, just to address what they're talking about, I did come up with most of those drum parts originally to orchestrate what everyone else was doing to complement the other players, and so even though, of course, you can hire another drummer, but I have the insight into why I played these parts, why this particular part, this group, whatever, and so all the pieces fit together, and with me in the band, to my ear, it sounds very close to what the albums sound like, because we have the instrumental group intact that made Escape and Frontier.
And I think with our technology, we've all improved our sounds, over the years. We started in the 80s, the amplifiers were nowhere what Neil has now, and my gosh, your rig is unbelievable now, right? It's like...
Yeah, it's a bunch, pretty much anything that you want, I put together this rig that's kind of like state of the art right now. I like to consider it, and it's taken a while for me to get used to it because there's so many options. But it's not only amp modeling through a fractal unit, but it's amp sampling. And so I went in and sampled my favorite amps in the studio, and I used 3 units, and one unit is all amplifiers and the other one is modeling, and it sounds really terrific.
And if Journey were formed today, would you guys make it in the music biz?
Absolutely.
I think so.
What would it be like to start in this modern music business?
Well, it'd be different style, wouldn't it? It would be a little different, but I think that the talent and the pieces are there to compete with anybody out there. You know what I mean? And I think our take would be a little different than it was in the 80s, certainly, but it would still sound like us.
The biggest challenge would be finding more radio stations like yourself to play it so people can hear it.
You'd have to do a lot more Instagramming as well.
Yes, we'd have to give away songs.
Play live more.
We would
more
probably
Instagram.
need a busload of 30 dancers.
Yeah.
Yeah, all that Spotify giveaway and
So Arnell, it was 10 years ago. I read that you flew to San Francisco for an audition. What do you remember about that time?
Just jet lag.
Obviously a special moment.
3 hours of sleep and then facing these wonderful boys, you know, and singing in front of them, doing the Dirty Dozen. It's it's one of the most terrifying moments of my life. But yeah, I got through it for 5 days straight.
You were amazing.
Doing
right
that.
You were
But,
great.
no, thank you.
And so it's been 10 years. Do you still feel like the new boy?
Not a new boy, but then it always feels like it's new to me every time I go out there on stage. It's always surreal for me, you know, because these guys have been have been one of my heroes when it comes to music, and then they've been one of my my blueprint, why I'm pursuing the music right now. It's just like they were one of my childhood dreams,
And when you guys, when you finish recording, let's say Don't Stop Believing, are you aware we've just done a masterpiece?
Well, Neil and I looked at each other and we said, there's something about the song. We didn't know what it was, but we thought it was something very catchy, and that's why it's the first, song on the album. We felt like it really opened up things for Escape quite well, but we knew there was something going on. We couldn't put our finger on it, but
I thought it was going to be like the biggest song off the record at that time, and to have it be like our biggest song, one of the biggest songs now, ever for us in downloading, and become like a world anthem. I don't know if we all expected that, but pleasant surprise, yeah.
Yeah,
that came along later.
Yeah,
Really, the
because
tune is more popular now.
Yeah, because
than
it only
was
reached
originally.
number 9
At
on
the
the top
time.
charts because of Michael Jackson's Thriller, which just dominated. That and the Men at Work album were like it, So we were competing with some strong stuff. But what happens later is the song transcends generations, and I think we started seeing it on the road as we were playing the song when we reformed in '98. Whenever we played that song, we see the young people come to the front of the stage, so it was speaking to them and resonating some 30 years later, which was a phenomenon.
Is it your closing song in the concert tomorrow?
I'm not going to tell you.
Okay.
You got to come and see.
More with Journey next on 1FM. You go on tour with your wives and families, I'm understanding? But the song Faithfully was more about life on the road without families, is that true?
That's right.
Was there someone or some couple that inspired that song?
I think it was the crew, really. I was so enamored with having 75 people under. I used to set my own gear up. I don't know, in the old days, and I just have to show up and play, which is pretty amazing, coming from the other world. And for me, it was just like, wow, all of us are sacrificing something for being out here. I realized that all those guys that climb up, the riggers, the PA guys, everybody were missing their loved ones to be doing this, because they couldn't certainly afford it, and there wasn't any room on the bus for them, So that was the life they chose, because they loved the road life. It's kind of like the circus thing.
Circus life.
Yeah. So it just came from that, and being in a grateful place and saying, what if we had a song we could all just gather around and sing, and it worked. And then the fans came with a sign saying, "We're forever yours faithfully," which was amazing.
And I mean, so many years later, I'm always curious. Obviously, successful, rich rock stars like yourself, why don't you just chill back, retire, and play golf? Why do you keep on going?
Well, you know what? Golf is cool, but it's a little slow for me. And I love music, and I'm here to play. I'm going to be one of those guys that, like BB or Jeff Beck, that aspires to get better every year, and I just love playing, and I know that everybody is.
We're in love with this music. This music represents something we all helped create, and it's an honor and a privilege to go out and represent a catalog that has been revered and really sort of approved by 3 generations. There's not many bands that can say they represent 3 or 4 generations like this one does.
And so a lot of your music forms the very soul of Americana. Were you guys invited to perform at the inauguration?
No.
No?
No.
If that had come up, how would you have addressed that?
And we're not political.
Okay.
We don't get into politics.
Yeah.
We try to stay in our lane, and I think that's just the best answer we can give you, right?
It's it's a tough thing, I mean, even though you want to do certain things, you can't sometimes because people are split pretty 50-50. Democrats, Republicans, either way you go, you're going to lose.
You're going to lose, right?
You're going to lose. So the best place to stay is neutral in the center, and just don't take a side, and keep it to yourself, whatever you think.
That's it.
Switzerland?
Politics and music, I don't think it mixes.
Yeah, and I don't particularly understand why artists can get up there on a rock stage and preach, about politics and about what's right in this world. They need to stay in their lane too. And it's all this politics, even what's going on in North Carolina, it's just, don't be doing that. Just play for, and why cancel a concert and penalize the people, your fans, because of something that you had no control over.
Exactly.
I mean, it just kind of, it irks me a little bit, but that's it, I'm done.
I'm not going to say an artist's name, but that's what happened in the Philippines. One artist from America canceled the show because of political views.
Because of bathroom law or something.
Yeah.
But that's not fair to the fans.
So that's what happened in the Philippines.
Yeah, so there you go.
I wanted to ask, I usually ask this kind of question. So if you're just playing guitar at home for pleasure, what are you probably playing?
When I'm playing at home, I have like a really cool chord keyboard like Jonathan has, and there's all sorts of loops in it, different types of drum loops, and you can mess around with it and get some really cool rhythms going. And I just kind of go from loop to loop to loop, and I come up with some cool riffs, and I jam.
Okay, so
for hours and just keep fingers like flying.
Okay, original stuff. I was thinking, which Beatles song would you be playing if you were just playing at home?
I hear Neil play, a lot in dressing rooms and whatnot. He's usually writing some kind of new riff or something.
Right.
And so, when he goes into the studio, he's got a catalog of riffs.
Yeah, I mean, the iPhone is my new little, cassette machine.
Yeah.
I used to bring John and Steve Perry, back in the heyday, I had a cassette machine, and every time I came with a riff, I'd lay it down, and then John go, "What do you got?" And I go, "Here you go, man." And it was just a bunch of riffs, but I go, I think this piece fits with this, and then he would go, how about if we put this over here? And all of a sudden there's Stone in Love,
But still all the original stuff in it.
Yeah, for me, I make music for the kingdom of God. I'm working on, worship music.
Okay.
And I just released a worship album called What God Wants to Hear. And so in my spare time, I play for the Lord and play behind my wife preaches, and I play in church, and it's wonderful. It's a great little outlet for me to, say thank you for the blessings.
And what's
Russ too? Russ is working on a project, right?
Yeah, I have a project. Actually, for years I put off. I brought material back from the back burner. I've been writing for years off and on, and finally decided to just take those pieces that I really am inspired by and to finish them. So it's purely artistic for me.
Okay. And how about Journey? Are Journey planning another album?
Yeah, we're going to start writing again. Yeah, we've sort of been just pushing, for the live thing, but I think the inspiration will come, and we will, forge into some new frontiers, if you will.
Yeah, I've been in the studio myself working on a new project. I mean, Steve and I have been working on, countless projects all the time. We did The Calling, and we did Vortex, which is a double live record, and double CD. And I'm working with Narda, Michael Walden right now on an orchestral, funky, melodic record. And that's coming really nicely. And we actually kicked around a couple of Journey ideas, just jamming in the studio. He got on electric pads, and he says, "What do you got?" And I said, "Well, I got this Stonesy, R&B type riff," and we threw a couple ideas together. So I'm looking forward to showing that to John.
We're gonna come up with some a whole, maybe an EP or some kind of single. If we cut an EP and then the best song come out, right now that seems to be the album thing isn't as big as it was, the CDs are kind of dying away, and so you can go on a one song basis with iTunes and just let them be your label, right?
And congrats, induction into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. How does that feel?
Amazing. It was worth the wait.
Yes.
So in April there's a ceremony. I presume there's a performance, or what's the plan?
Yes. 3 songs, I guess, right, Neil?
Yeah, 3 songs they're saying right now. Yeah.
A lot of people asking, is it going to be a classic lineup in some way?
There'll be some classic lineups in there.
There'll be some classic lineups.
Yeah, we don't know about the other classic lineup. But there's one classic that we're not sure about.
Yeah.
But Arnell will be singing. We know that for a fact.
Okay.
That's what we know.
Yeah.
Represent
I got
us.
invited.
Alright, that's all I'm going to get out of the guys. Congrats on that, and good luck with the concert tomorrow. Thanks so much for being here
Thank you.
today.
Shannon.
Thank
See you there, I hope. This is Ross Valerie.
Neil Sean.
Arnel Pineda.
Steve Smith.
And Jonathan Kane. We are Journey. And you're listening to 1FM 91.3, Real Music.
1FM 91.3. Real music.